Appeals Court rejects Trump's no-bond immigration detentions, setting stage for Supreme Court review. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Just Immigration News. The court ruling. A federal appeals court in the Second Circuit has ruled that the Trump administration cannot detain immigrants without offering the opportunity to seek bond hearings, citing serious constitutional questions about due process rights. The unanimous decision from a three-judge panel in New York City marks a major legal setback for the policy and sets the stage for a potential Supreme Court review. Conflicting circuits. The ruling also highlights a growing split among federal appeals courts since the Eighth and Fifth Circuits have previously upheld the same detention policy, creating conditions for Supreme Court intervention. The policy shift. Under the administration policy, the Department of Homeland Security began denying bond hearings to immigrants arrested across the country, including those who have lived in the United States for years with no criminal history. This marks a major departure from earlier administrations where most non-citizens arrested away from the border could request bond hearings and often received release if they were not considered flight risks. Mandatory detention was previously limited mainly to recent arrivals. Court backlash and lawsuits. The shift has overwhelmed the federal court system with more than 30,000 lawsuits filed by immigrants challenging their detention through Habeas Corpus petitions. Judges across the country are now being asked to decide bond requests outside the immigration court system due to the lack of administrative hearings. Case example. One case involves Ricardo Barbosa de Dunia, a Brazilian national who entered the United States around 2005 and applied for asylum in 2016. He was granted work authorization while his case was under review, has no criminal record, owns a home in Massachusetts, lives with his wife and U.S. citizen children, and runs a small construction business. He was arrested in September 2025 under an administrative warrant and placed into removal proceedings after an immigration judge ruled he was subject to mandatory detention. Constitutional concerns. The court warned that indefinite detention without bond raises serious constitutional issues, especially when the government cannot show a reasonable relation to a legitimate non-punitive purpose. Immigration advocates praise the ruling, saying it protects due process and prevents unlawful mass detention policies. Critics of the administration argue the policy threatens basic civil liberties for millions of non-citizens. DHS response and next step. The Department of Homeland Security defended the policy, citing immigration law passed in 1996 and a recent Board of Immigration Appeals ruling supporting mandatory detention. Officials, including the Trump administration and ICE leadership, argue the policy ensures national security and consistency in enforcement. However, the Second Circuit opinion written by Judge Joseph F. Bianco, joined by Judges Allison J. Nathan and Jose A. Cabranes, concluded that the government's interpretation conflicts with the plain text and history of the statute. With over 370 federal judges already rejecting the approach and 2 circuit courts now split, the issue is expected to reach the Supreme Court for final resolution soon. As the legal battle intensifies, this case could redefine how immigration detention and bond rights are handled across the U.S., with the Supreme Court now positioned to make a landmark decision that will impact millions of immigrants nationwide, while also setting precedent for future immigration enforcement policies and constitutional limits on prolonged detention without judicial review, marking a closely watched case today. Please like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next video. Take care.